Let's talk about a material that's so common we don't even think about it. It's in the tires on our cars, maybe even the band on your wrist. But what if I told you that same material was once basically a cursed substance? A sticky, useless goo that would melt in the summer and then shatter like glass in the winter. Well, this is the incredible and honestly pretty tragic story of rubber and the obsessed inventor who finally tamed it. So here's how we're gonna unpack this whole crazy story. We'll start with the sticky problem itself. Then we'll dive into one inventor's obsession, a complete stroke of luck, the science behind that breakthrough, and finally, a legacy that is just filled with bitter irony. Okay, so back in the early 19th century, the world had this weird problem. Natural rubber, this amazing stuff that comes from trees, was completely impractical. It was such a paradox. It had all this potential, but it was totally, utterly defeated by the weather. This really just lays out the challenge perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got this frustrating, unreliable mess. And on the other, you have the dream, a material that's stable, durable, and flexible. The question that haunted inventors was actually pretty simple. How in the world do you get from the problem to the solution? And well, one man made solving this puzzle his entire life's mission. His name was Charles Goodyear, and his quest, it wasn't just a career for him. It was a full-blown obsession that would end up consuming him completely. Goodyear's journey was anything but glamorous. I mean, he poured every single penny he had into his experiments. He fell so deep into debt that he was actually thrown into prison. But even there, he convinced his wife to bring him some rubber and a rolling pin so he could keep working. His life was just this brutal cycle of failure, poverty, and frankly, public ridicule. You know, we often have this picture of inventors, right? They have a single eureka moment that leads to immediate fame and fortune. For Goodyear, that could not be further from the truth. His reality was just one of grinding poverty and a relentless dedication to a problem that nobody else could seem to solve. So, after years and years of meticulous, systematic experimentation that led absolutely nowhere, the breakthrough came from a moment of pure, clumsy chance. Okay, picture this. It's 1839, and Goodyear is at his absolute lowest point. He's playing around with a new rubber sulfur compound. In a moment of haste, a piece of this mixture just falls out of his hands and lands on a hot stove. Now, he expected it to melt into a puddle like it always did. But this time, something incredible happened. It didn't melt. It charred, hardening into this tough, leathery, and permanently elastic substance. He had finally found it. That clumsy moment, it felt like magic, but it was actually chemistry. So let's take a quick look at the science behind what really happened on that stove that day. Goodyear had discovered a process that would later get a pretty cool name, Vulcanization, named after Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. It's the chemical reaction that unlocked rubber's true potential. Okay, think of natural rubber like a big bowl of spaghetti. The long polymer chains are just the strands, and they can slide around each other super easily. That's why it melts. Now, when you add sulfur and heat, those sulfur atoms create these tiny, strong bridges or cross-links between the spaghetti strands. It's like stapling all the strands of spaghetti together. All of a sudden, they can't slide apart anymore. The material becomes stable, strong, and elastic, no matter what the temperature is. So, Goodyear had given the world a miracle material. His discovery would literally fuel the Industrial Revolution. But for the man himself, well, the story doesn't exactly have a happy ending. I mean, vulcanized rubber changed everything. It made modern transportation possible with reliable tires. It was absolutely essential for industrial machinery, waterproof clothing, electrical insulation, you name it. Goodyear literally made the modern industrial world possible. And yet, despite creating an industry that's now worth billions, Charles Goodyear died with a personal debt of $200,000. To put that in perspective, in today's money, that's over $6 million in debt. So why? How did that happen? Because the same obsession that drove him to his discovery, it never left him. He poured every single dollar he made right back into more experiments and into these costly, draining lawsuits to defend his patent from copycats. His passion was his genius, but it was also his financial ruin. And here it is, the final stunning irony of it all. The Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, a name we all know, was founded almost 40 years after he died. They named the company in his honor, sure, but Charles Goodyear and his family never had any connection to it. they never received a single dollar from its massive success. It just leaves us with this really powerful question. Charles Goodyear's persistence gave us a material that defines our modern world, but it cost him absolutely everything. It really makes you wonder, for the geniuses who push humanity forward, what is the personal toll of a world-changing idea?